Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again. Welcome to the roundup, I suppose, of England's group stage of Euro 2016. My opinions, of course. Feel free to disagree in the comment section down below. But I did intend initially to record one of these per game, and you'll be aware a lot of you will have seen the review kind of that I did for the Russia game, and I did record one for the Wales game on my phone when I was in Spain. But my phone ended up in the swimming pool, so it doesn't work. So there is a review of the Wales game on there. Just can't get it. And obviously, I was in Spain for a week. I was out in Spain whilst the Slovakia game was played as well, so I'm back now, so I thought I'd just do a roundup of the group stage, and then obviously when we play Iceland, after that I'll do a review of that particular game as well. But the games against Wales and Slovakia, obviously you'll be fully aware by this point. If you aren't, where have you been? England drew 1-1 against Russia, got a 2-1 win against Wales just, and a 0-0 draw against Slovakia. We finished second in the group, in Group B, and will face Iceland in the round of 16. Only because Iceland scored a last-minute winner in their game against Austria to finish above Portugal. Until the very last seconds of that game, we were looking like we were going to face up against the old nemesis from recent years, Portugal, in the round of 16. Thank you, Iceland. We face them in the round of 16 and not Portugal. We do, though, should we be able to progress past Iceland, the likely opponent in the quarterfinals would be the hosts France. So there's still a lot of hard work to be put in if we're to go all the way to the final. But Iceland is up next. We won't cover that just yet. Let's discuss Wales and Slovakia. The Wales game, as was the case with the Russia game, I was very impressed with how comfortable we were in possession and how creative we were going forward. Obviously, Joe Hart made the mistake for Gareth Bale's free kick, and I'm sure he's fully aware of that, and obviously will have apologised to the squad, etc., for making that mistake. Obviously, the ball was pretty central whilst being about 30-35 yards out, and Joe Hart was too far to his right-hand side and couldn't get back across to the left-hand side down to save the shot in time. Definitely, from that distance out, with it being a central free kick as well, should have been slap bang in the middle of his goal so that he could go either way. But clearly, as was the case with Bale's free kick against Slovakia, his reputation preceded him. Keeper gets a little bit unnerved, makes a mistake, costs him a goal. Bale, of course, scored in Wales's third game against Russia as well. I believe he's joint top scorer now in the competition alongside Alvaro Morata. I haven't checked the actual stats themselves, the table, so feel free to let me know in the comment section down below if I'm right or wrong with that. I think Morata on 3 and Bale on 3 are the top goal scorers of the tournament, but like I say, I may be slightly mistaken there. Overall, though, delighted to have come back. The one thing that frustrated me going from the Wales game to the Slovakia game was, first off, Roy Hodgson did extremely well to make the changes at half-time that he did in the Wales game. I was disappointed that we started with the same 11, but he made the changes early enough on to change the game. Vardy definitely changed the game. 11 minutes into the second half, gets his goal, and we equalise. The only annoying thing was, like I say, Daniel Sturridge came off the bench, was super greedy for the entirety of the second half, and then scored the goal to win us the game. So, delighted that he scored the goal to win us the game. The only thing is, a lot of you will be aware that I know how good Sturridge is, but the overbearing negative for him is that he is so unbearably, unbelievably greedy in situations in and around the box, to his and his team's detriment. Thankfully, it didn't cost us against Wales, and we were able to get the goal through him, ironically enough, as it dropped to him in the 92nd minute. Against Slovakia, he obviously got the start, as did Jamie Vardy. Harry Kane dropped to the bench. We were not as creative as we were against Russia or Wales. Slovakia were more defensive than Russia or Wales, and we were so slow in the build-up against Slovakia that despite having a number of chances, we only got one on target, I think it was, from like the 10 that we had. And a number of them, at least 3 that I can remember, were blazed high and wide over the bar from Daniel Sturridge from distance with passing options. That's my most frustrating moment from the group stage so far. Daniel Sturridge, if he looks up, passes the football, his interlinking play is good enough so that we could work opportunities. But the most frustrating thing is when he's there, 25-30 yards out from goal, he's got a pass to his right, he's got a pass to his left, he tries a step over, runs into the defender in front of him, they counter-attack. Oh, the entire bar that we were sat in watching the Slovakia game were livid at Daniel Sturridge. I tweeted my thoughts, of course, and as per usual, got slated by Liverpool fans that think I just hate on Sturridge for the sake of hating on Sturridge. I don't hate on Sturridge for the sake of hating on Sturridge. He brings it out in me with his frustrating football. If he plays the right way, he's one of the best English strikers that we could possibly have in the starting lineup. Jamie Vardy didn't have as much of an influence in this game against Slovakia as he did in the Welsh one. He had one very good opportunity that he got played through over the top and just sprinted around the defender. Tried to put it through the keeper with his left-footed shot, but he hit it down into the ground and it bounced back up into the keeper's midriff, and he was able to make the save. If he'd perhaps tried to place it in the near post and side foot it around the keeper, probably would have gone in. If his connection had been a little bit better and it had stayed low across the ground, probably would have gone underneath the keeper into the back of the net. Such are the fine margins in international football, or any level of football. It just takes that one sweet connection to make the difference in a game, and unfortunately Jamie Vardy wasn't able to find it in that particular situation. Lallana had a couple of scuff shots that went wide. Rooney had a scuff shot that went wide. We had a couple of headers from corners that came close to going in. But the Slovakia game was probably the most disappointing of all three group stage games. It was just the slow tempo, the sideways passing that was extremely frustrating. You could clearly tell that we missed the attacking influence of Kyle Walker and Danny Rose, both of whom in the first two games had exceedingly good performance levels. We missed that. Nathaniel Klein had a great game at right back, but he didn't offer as much as Kyle Walker, and whilst I like Ryan Bertrand defensively, when it comes to his offensive play, whilst he is pretty decent, he's just not anywhere near the level of performance that Danny Rose is putting in right now with the form that he's in after having obviously a spectacular season with Tottenham. One standout positive performance throughout all three games for me was Eric Dyer. Extremely pleased with how he's been performing, and makes me feel a lot more confident defensively that when we come up against one of the better sides in the competition, should we of course get past Iceland, that we'd be a lot more solid defensively with him in that holding role than we would be otherwise. We did miss Rooney in that centre mid spot as well. Wilshere, in the first two games coming off the bench, made an impact. Starting, didn't have the same level of input in the game that you would want from him, unfortunately. Jordan Henderson did his absolute best. A lot of sideways passing though. His delivery from set pieces was atrocious, but his link-up play at times was very good. I didn't understand why Roy took Lallana off instead of Henderson when he made the midfield change to bring Rooney on. I think we would have been better with Rooney, Wilshere and Lallana rather than Rooney, Wilshere and Jordan Henderson. But Roy makes the decisions. We got a 0-0 draw. We were very solid defensively. No worries there. We've kept a clean sheet in the final game. Only conceded 2 goals in 3 games. We scored 3 goals, but I think if you look at the chances created, there was some. Italy had like 20 chances, scored 3. We'd had like 50 chances, scored 3. We just need to be a little bit more clinical as we head into the final rounds. Hopefully, with no slight against Iceland whatsoever, because clearly they're a decent side. They beat Austria, they drew with Portugal, and did they draw with Hungary? I think Hungary beat them, didn't they? I can't quite remember. Let me know in the comment section down below. Iceland have performed well above where everyone thought they would to finish second in the group, but I'm hoping that we will be able to be more clinical in the round of 16 game against Iceland, get the confidence up of the forward players and the attacking midfield players, keep a high tempo, the ball moving forwards rather than just side to side. There were a number of times against Slovakia where we could catch them on the counter-attack when they had like 5 or 6 people back, and we just were so slow coming out that all 11 people or all 10 outfield players were then behind the ball before we even got to the halfway line. And it was so frustrating. But hopefully we will learn from it. We're through to the next round anyway. That's the most important thing, I suppose. A clean sheet against Slovakia would have been nice to score, but we weren't able to. Overall, again, massive positives from this tournament so far for me are how well the young players have come in and done. Also, how comfortable we are in possession and how good our build-up play has been. We have been much more comfortable in possession than I think I've ever seen an England side in my lifetime. Euro 96, I can't quite remember. I was only 8. I can't quite remember what style of football we played. It was clearly effective, though, getting to the semi-finals. And I remember watching all of the games. I just can't quite remember the style of football we played, etc. But watching this tournament, I'm very, very encouraged about the future of this England side. Whether we'll be good enough in this tournament right now with the form we're currently in, with the slow tempo, etc., to actually go deeper into the tournament than the quarterfinals remains to be seen. But overall, I'm encouraged. I know a lot of people have been quite frustrated and have voiced their opinions on Twitter, etc. You're allowed an opinion, as am I, as is everybody. Be respectful of people's opinions. Just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean that they're a dickhead. It just means that they have a different opinion to you, and that is allowed. That's football. It's a game of opinions. So feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Be respectful to everybody else. If someone else has a different opinion to you, that's quite all right. That is allowed. And I will check back in with you with regards to the Euro 2016 tournament after England's game in the round of 16 against Iceland. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel too for more Euro 2016 vlogs, for more FIFA content. And I am hoping to get a FIFA 17 My Journey reaction style video up for you at least by Monday. That's the plan. I've got a lot of work to catch up on, obviously, having been away for a week, but hopefully I'll be able to get that out for you sooner rather than later. So that's all to come, but for me, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.